Hello, we are going to graph some lines today. We're going to start by deciding whether something is a linear equation or not. So we know that we're given these 3 points that create a function, but the question is, are they linear? Meaning, would they form a line when we plotted them? So without graphing them, we can test this checking their slopes, so that rate of change. So we're going to just start with the first 2 points, find the slope between those two. Well, when I plug them into my slope formula, that y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, we get a slope of 2/3. Next, I'm going to check our second and our third point. When we do that, we get a slope of 2/5. And since these aren't the same slopes, we know that it is not a linear function. So some quick reminders, different forms of a line. We have standard form, slope, intercept, and point slope. They're used for different things or convenient for different times. So if we're asked to graph something in standard form, that 3x plus 2y equals 12, it is easiest to use our intercepts. So I always make an xy table. I plug in 0 for x and 0 for y and find what my y value would be. So if I plug in 0 for x, 3 times 0 is 0. So that essentially goes away. And all we have left is 2y equals 12. So I divide by 2 on both sides, which is where I get the 6. Likewise, if I plug 0 in for y, that eliminates that part of my fraction, and I have 3x equals 12, which is where I get x equals 4. This gives me 2 points to graph, and it only takes 2 points to create a line. So I graph 0, comma 6, and then 4, comma 0, and that is my equation, or that is my line, 3x plus 2y equals 12. So I want you guys to tell me, what are the intercepts of this equation, negative 2x plus 5y equals negative 20? Okay, sometimes we'll be given point slope form. And remember, point slope, we're given a point and a slope. So the easiest to figure out is, what is our slope? Well, that's negative 1/2. And then the point that this line goes through is negative 2, comma 3. And we're going to use those pieces of information to graph. So I've already sketched out this graph, but imagine that I did this step by step. So this is my point. So I go over to negative 2, up 3. And then I know my slope is negative 1/2, which means I go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2. So if you're given an equation like this, you don't need to distribute and get it into slope-intercept. You can graph with that point and that slope and get the same line just a little faster. A couple other things to talk about. If we have horizontal lines, they will always be y equals some constant. B is just a number. Okay. It's also really important to know that the slope of a horizontal line is always 0. Similarly, we have vertical lines, and those are always x equals a constant or a number. And every vertical line has an undefined slope. Okay, we're going to look at finding slopes. So I have 2 points and I need to find the slope between them. Okay, I plug them into my slope equation, 3 minus 1 and then negative 2 minus negative 2. And that comes out to 2 divided by 0. We cannot divide by 0, therefore we know this is an undefined slope, which according to our rules up here, we know it's a vertical line. And if you look at your points, both points go through the x coordinate negative 2. So our equation for this vertical line is x equals negative 2. I'd like you guys to tell me the equation of this line and then also what is the slope of the line.